Alright, good morning from another Baselworld. This will be the last one as I leave very early morning tomorrow to return to Vancouver.
2 more days for us.
Yeah, you guys got a couple more days. There's still tons of stuff to see. Today, kind of a ton of brands like yesterday, but some highlights for me, Victorinox and Oris and Longines should all be great. And yeah, other than that, I think it's probably time to get in the show. Anything stand out for you on the schedule today?
It's Sport Watch day for us.
Lots of, it's been Sport Watch the show so far.
Yeah, it's funny how that is like basically what we gravitate to. We see like ultra luxury complicated watches, we're like, eh. I think it's really because we look at watches more and more that you and I want to buy, or that the team wants to buy.
As much as possible.
Yeah, maybe in the future when we're fabulously wealthy, we'll be a little bit more excited about tourbillons.
Cool, well, let's get into Victorinox.
See you guys.
We just finished up at Victorinox. It's really hard not to like the Inox stuff, especially now that they've made a ladies model, which is fairly rare for them to do something specific for women. 37 millimeters with the paracord strap looks really cool. The rubber's going to be great, and it's $500, and good luck breaking it. I think if you want a watch that's you know, like a G-Shock or something, but with a different style, a different aesthetic, a three-hander, the analog, it's hard to believe you could do better than buying something like the Inox. I just think they're really tough. They're great on wrist. They make a diver now with the bracelet. Really great stuff. And next up we have an absolute favorite from the show. So let's spin and say hi to Oris. Always a good time visiting Oris. They've got a ton of new stuff this year. You know, Aquas is in a new case size and a new case shape and such. Lots of really great stuff. That 1917 seems to be super popular on Instagram, and on wrist it's really cool. That bund strap is nice, the sizing's just right, and it's like a carbon copy of the original. It's really neat. On top of that, we had the new Chronoris, which is probably my favorite of the new collection, despite the fact that it's not a dive watch, which is more or less what I love from Oris. I love that gray-orange coloring. 39 millimeters is perfect. Perfect vintage kind of aesthetic, but very wearable. Handful of different straps, and starting at $17.50 seems super fair. And the internal ratcheting bezel is really trick as well. Feels really good, easy to use. And then we saw the Hammerhead limited edition as well, which is pretty neat and is tied back to a really fun project for the brand, you know, conserving hammerhead populations in this world's oceans. So So it's about 6 o'clock now. I'm hitting my last meeting of the entire fair. The crowds are definitely starting to thin out, which you'll be able to see as fewer people walk past me glaring at the camera. I'm on my way to Longines, see what they've got. It's a good last meeting. They usually have some fun stuff, some heritage pieces, that sort of thing. So let's get over there and check it out. So just leaving Longines, they have a handful of great stuff. I really like the high accuracy quartz stuff, under $1,000 US. That's a pretty appealing watch. It's a nice size, and the way that it kind of protects itself from magnetism is pretty clever, and it does the same thing for shock, where it kind of stops the movement, and then when it's deemed to be safe again, it kind of kicks back in, and the time it restores itself to be accurate, hyper accurate, 5 seconds a year. And the vintage inspired stuff was great. The 60th anniversary pieces look really good. They do that kind of stuff well, not unlike Seiko really in their approach to the presentation and the models and such. And then the 1945 looks really cool if you're a fan of the vintage. I think you're gonna freak out over the new one. And yeah, I'm just about to leave the show for the last time for 2017, but I think we'll do the wrap up with some fresh air on the street. Okay, so I'd hoped to do my sign off from my condo, but my condo building's courtyard is inhabited exclusively by screaming children, and they're not quiet for more than about 30 seconds at a time. So I'm going to take a little short walk around the block and try and sum up kind of how the show went. I think it went really well. It was a good Basel. It was great for a blog to watch, and we saw some amazing watches. We saw really varied watches, but it felt like a good year for sport watches, which I'm pretty much all about. Lots of great dive watches. If you're into vintage inspired, that trend just seems to be blowing up on all levels. Pretty much everybody's in that game now. And yeah, I mean, I'm not much for a really long goodbye, so I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I know you could have watched something else, and there's tons of coverage of all these watches, so the fact that you spent all this time following me around the show is great. Maybe someday all of you will get a chance to come to Baselworld, but if not, I wanted to offer this as kind of a second best alternative option. Thank you so much for watching and liking and the comments and everything, and I hope we get to do it again soon for some upcoming event. Until then, all the best.